You are now watching Zach Lesage PTCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to Zach Lesage PTCG. I'm Zach Lesage, and today I'm super excited that we're doing this super special last minute video. I literally got finished doing the graphics, and this is going to be one of my quickest uploads yet, pending that YouTube gets it out. So today we're going to have this video, we're going to have the Yell Horn podcast, and I should be playing live at Chill at 6 p.m. Eastern, so check out all that greatness. But I found a way to edit the images into a very clean format, and I have the 5 best decks coming out of Battle Styles. So I know a lot of people have been requesting Battle Styles content. I know Battle Styles is slated to be released in the TCG and online in the next couple weeks, but here are my 5 lists that I've been testing on the side with Tabletop Simulator. I've been talking to my friends in Discord calls about them, getting opinions, and I think these are a really great way to start off with lists. Are they going to be perfect? No, they're day 1 lists, and I mean, it's one of those things where once the format develops, we can start working on more and more on lists. But if you are interested in Battle Styles, which I know a lot of you are, it's going to be one of the coolest sets that we've seen released in years. This video is for you. If you're looking for any of these cards, once the set is released on PTCGO, go to PTCGOstore.com, plug in code ZLesage5 to save 5% off your order. All the lists are below in the description. I wrote them out myself so they're not importable into PTCGO, but at least you have the copy and paste list so you can edit it for your own goodness. And I mean, you could also subscribe to the channel, and if you want to become a member, you always can do that too. Click join on desktop to see what offerings are available. All of the members had access to these lists before this video went up, so it's worthwhile to become a member in many more ways than one. All right, let's jump into these deck lists and see what's poppin'. Coming in hot, we have Corviknight VMAX. Corviknight VMAX seems like it's going to be a really good deck, and I mean, I've seen a lot of peeps talk about this deck, and they're like, is Corviknight VMAX better than other evolved Pokemon? So you might want to know how this strategy works before we kind of open that can for discussion. This deck uses Bronzong from Battle Styles. It uses the Metal Transfer ability, so you could swap your Metal energies between your pokes. That's cool enough between Metal Saucer, Coating Metal, Metal energies. There's enough good stuff, and you can see metal decks have been dominating for a minute now in the format. So we see staples such as Lucario Melmetal, Zacian V, Metal Goggles, all that good stuff that really make this deck shine. So where do we want to move our energies to? Well, there's 2 ways that we could do it. We could just go with Bronzong and moving energies around, and that's cool enough. And it can help you in a lot of ways, where you could get a Metal Saucer on a Pokemon on the bench and then move it to your active without having to play a switch. You might be able to take a Pokemon of the active spot, move all the energies to it, or change your energies up depending on what's going on in a game. So Bronzong allows you to make a lot of informed decisions when it comes to any kind of metal deck, and I could see it being a staple in a lot of metal decks going forward, or this just kind of being the new wave. Well, we also received Cheryl from Battle Styles, and Cheryl is a great type of healing base supporter, and it's something that we don't necessarily see all of the time. So Cheryl, you can heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon, then you discard all energy attached to the Pokemon you healed in this way. Well, in this case, we would have 3 energies on our evolution Pokemon, and VMAX Pokemon count as evolution Pokemon for the sake of this. But it's one of those things where we can move the energies off the Pokemon, heal them, and then continuously attack. That kind of leads to say which is the best Pokemon that you want to kind of heal from. Now, in terms of evolution metal type Pokemon, stage 1, stage 2 are not necessarily going to have that gigantic HP that VMAXs bring. So you could read evolution as VMAX Pokemon, and you really have Copper, you have Scizor VMAX, you got Corviknight. I kind of like Corviknight the most right now, and that might change in the future. Again, these are early lists for the sets. Corviknight VMAX is going to allow me to kind of bide through a bunch of random abilities. You might be like, how? Well, it's got its ability Luster Armor, prevent all effects of your opponent's abilities done to this Pokemon. So you're not going to get Zigzagoon pinged. They're not going to be able to go and hit you with a Giratina. They're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff. I also think that doing 240 damage is huge over and over again. That's as much as Copper would be doing. This one's for 3 energies, and you might be like, yo, but you can't attack during your next turn. Well, that hasn't stopped Zacian. You could also just use its free retreat and retreat into another one and bounce those energies back and forth. There's a couple other ideas that I had for this deck. Maybe it's worthwhile for me to include a Mew to protect my Bronzong on the bench. However, I think it's just going to get picked off by a boss orders anyways. Maybe Ordinary Rod would be really cool in this deck, or maybe I could even go with less metal energies. These are things that I need to determine a little bit more once PTCGO gets these cards, but overall, I think this deck is super cool, and I mean, it seems like a very concise combo, and kind of how we've seen other Fire-type decks or Fire-type decks get all these new support cards, and you see Scourge adding in a Cramorant, and adding in a Talonflame V, and adding in a Heatran-GX, like, you might be able to change these cards up as they're getting released. So sure, Lucario Melmetal might get rotated out, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to have the next best metal card come out 2 sets from now. So this is really a set that's going to grow better with age. It's like fine wine, right? I didn't necessarily want to put this one as the first list in there, and these lists are not in order. I'm just going to try to say I didn't want to spark the argument too soon, but here we are with the second list that I'm featuring, and it's Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. So Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX is kind of it's kind of almost a Pokemon that has an identity crisis. It takes pulls from things such as Raichu, Alolan Raichu, and Golisopod, where you move from the bench to the active spot to do more damage. 150 for Gale Thrust, 1 energy is absolutely huge. And then it has the G-Max Rapid Flow, where you can discard all energy attached to this poke and go 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So again, kind of taking that Tag Bolt GX, Reshiram, and Zekrom GX vibe, and kind of combining all these cards together into one. And of course, we get the new Rapid Strike package that includes Rapid Strike Energy. So this deck is designed to kind of bide through games, go through games and see exactly what's going on. Going with a Jirachi Scoop Up Net based engine seems pretty good with this deck, because you could switch out into a Jirachi, grab an important card, whether it's a Malolana to heal that boss orders to knock out a Dedenne with Gale Thrust. Maybe you want to get a Great Catcher to do the same. There's a lot of cool little tech cards that are in this deck. And again, as the metagame kind of grows and we see exactly what's going on with this deck, the tech cards certainly can change. So going with the Scoop Up Net based engine, I went with Galarian Zigzagoon. Galarian Zigzagoon can allow me to ping things on the bench. So I could go Galarian Zigzagoon, Telescopic Sight, knock out a Dedenne-GX. Cool attacks that could be interesting. And cool combos that are within this deck. Jirachi GX is going to stop the weakness. I think this deck might not necessarily want to deal with the weakness, especially when you're playing things like Dragapult, that might be able to creep through. I do have Mimikyu as well, because I am worried about Mewtwo, among other GX-based abilities for this deck. The Mewtwo can just get your supporters back. I did include a new copy of Cheryl here to heal my evolution Pokemon, considering I'm discarding my energies anyways, or that Gale Thrust only costs a single energy. I might be able to heal more than Malolana, and maybe I don't need to switch around. I'm not sure, but I think Cheryl is cute right now. That might turn into another Malolana, but we'll see exactly how it goes once I get my hands on a few more games of testing. Other included cards are the Rapid Strike Energy, which could double up the energy for G-Max Rapid Flow, and there is Escape Rope, the reprint that we've seen to allow me to bounce. So there's a lot of really cool plays between a kind of standard deck. This deck is kind of built upon like a Crycephalon kind of build, where you take the Jirachi engine that we've seen there. And we've already, one thing that I do like to say is when you're building a new deck, try to look for other engines that have worked for other decks and see if there's similarities here. So I really took cues from Jirachi-based engines from Scourge, Crycephalon, plugged and played to this cool kind of deck. Looked back, especially like Isaiah Williams, he won the International Championships of Australia with his Zapdos deck a few years back. This would be a very similar concept to that. So really looking at what we have available in the game and then taking cues from that, putting my own thoughts and process in it, and then realizing what kind of deck it is in the process. So that's kind of how I came to this, I'd say semi-refined list, and it looks pretty cool. Maybe I'd want to add in one of the Rapid Strike scrolls or another Telescopic Sight. Again, I'm going to do a lot of testing and be prepared. I'm going to have a lot of Battle Styles content available once the set is released on PTCGO. So this might be one of the most slept on cards in the set. And I mean, I even think during my review, I might have been sleeping on this card. I mean, I might have been sleeping in general. Victini VMAX really kind of like warming up to me in the past couple days, where I'm like, oh, you wanna know what? Like, Max Victory is a lot better of attack than I thought. Kind of like when you're playing Reshiram Charizard-GX against Pikarom and you go and knock out a Bolton, then you go and knock out a Pika. I think Max Victory could do a lot of damage throughout the game, and it's only going to get better once GX Pokemon rotate out of the format. So I think this card is going to get better with time. So it does for 2 energies, 100, and then additional 120 if they are a V Pokemon. And of course, we have the Zigzagoon Jirachi Scoop Up Net package that I think can be incredibly hot when it comes to this type of deck. And it only costs 2 energies, so you could always bank your extra energy on a Reshiram on the bench or on one of the other Pokemon. It has a lot of HP, so maybe you could switch into a Heatran-GX. I do like that Victini V, you can use the one from Sword and Shield, so you can attack for a decent bit of damage with Energy Burst if they have a lot of energies attached to them. You have Spreading Flames as well. Same thing how Victini VMAX also has the same Spreading Flames. Now, I had a lot of my friends be like, yo, Zach, why are you playing the Victini V from Battle Styles? And I'm like, well, I played a 2-1 split just so I have options. And I think with a Fire-type deck, especially when you have the space and it automatically evolves into the other one, I'd like to have those options. I just like that I have access to a turn 1 120, or going second, going turn 1 120, or just being able to do 60 damage to a Pokemon V, or 120 to a Pokemon V. That could be a Zacian V that you just hit 120 for a single energy while you Welder on the bench. I like that there's kind of depths and layers to the deck. Now, there's other Pokemon that can get knockouts on the first turn, like Reshiram and Charizard-GX, but you might not always have the switch. So if I just happen to start Victini V, my opponent starts Zacian V, I might be able to Flare Shot them out of the game completely. And I really like that. So this deck kind of works just like a Centiskorch, Crycephalon, Welder Toolbox, Welder and Friends kind of deck, where it's a Welder-based engine. You're going to build up Pokemon as you see fit throughout the game, and you have other ways to accelerate energies with Spreading Flames on Victini V, Spreading Flames on both Victini VMAX, and Volcanion, and of course the Welder. So there's lots of different ways for you to acquire energies. There's lots of ways for you to search out energies with Giant Hearth, Fire Crystal to grab them back, and then a fresh set of attackers with Heatran-GX Cram, Victini VMAX, Reshiram, and Volk itself, even if you play something against like Decigoons. So all putting that layered on a Jirachi package. This might be the best way to run the deck. I have a decent bit of experience with Fire type decks. I mean, from the whole 2018 to 2020, I basically almost exclusively played Fire decks, and I've seen a lot of success with the regional championship win and second place international championships finish. There's few other placements in between, but I think I kind of understood Fire decks a lot during that time, and I think this is very similar. At least that's my first hunch as well. Again, I'm excited to test this deck once Battle Styles is released, but it seems like a solid go-to list right now, and we'll have to see exactly how the metagame reacts to all these new decks, and then we'll have to see what techs we might want to add in. Maybe we want to add in a Giratina, because the metal type decks have the bronze on, can move like 3 coding metal energies to their active. Maybe we're like, oh, you want to know what? This Victini is better, that Victini is better, this Fire type text, or this Fire tech sucks, double V could be good. There's a lot of cool things that you could do with this deck, but I mean, I think it's really cool. So this is one of those decks where I'm not entirely sure if it's a sleeper type deck or what's going on with it, but I think Tapu Koko VMAX, I was kind of instantly excited when I saw this card. I mean, anything that's lightning type, that's kind of revolving around Pikarom vibes. I mean, I did win the Players' Cup 2 with a very similar deck to this. So, I mean, of course, I'm going to find comfort in decks that I've seen success with previous strategies. So, Tapu Koko VMAX, pretty cool card. Max Shock, being able to do 180 damage for 3 energies, which is, like, fine. That's not bad. But if you have more prize cards left in than your opponent, so if you're running behind on prize cards, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So, instead of Raichu, Alolan Raichu, moving between Raichu, Alolan Raichu, and going to the bench, going back to the active paralyzed, if you're behind, you could just be paralyzing your opponent over and over again. I think that would work really well with Marnie, Reset Stamp, Crushing Hammer, the new Fan of Waves, Chaotic Swell, all those good cards that we've already seen a lot of success in Pikarom. Now, of course, we did add Escape Rope and Fan of Waves from Battle Styles. The big thing of how we can get behind on prize cards is the same way that we can get powered up, and that's Electrode from Vivid Voltage with Bazap Generator. So being able to go behind on prize cards, as we've seen as success with Mismagius in the past, kind of exploding your Pokemon, going behind on prize cards, reaping the benefit of that, and then going after your opponent is a really solid strategy. I do like that we have access to both Tapu Koko V. We have the one from Sword and Shield. We're going to play with that one in majority because it does have free retreat. You can draw cards with its first attack. And we do have the new Tapu Koko V. I do like Spiral Thunder. It does 40 damage for each energy attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon with a 20 base damage. So if your opponent's loading up energy in play, you could do a lot of damage. If you're loading a bunch of energy in play, you could do a bunch of damage with Bolton. So I like that you have the Paralysis. I like that you have a safe 200 damage attack with Tapu Koko V. I like how you have a big 200 or a big attack with Spiral Thunder, a big attack with Bolton's Bolt Storm. And of course, being able to play around with prize cards, Reset Stamp, Energy Acceleration, and then Disruption with Crushing Hammer, Boss, Marnie, Fan of Waves. Like, there's so much cool things going on in this deck. And of course, you get that Speed Lightning package, so you could just draw cards. And you could go Tapu Koko Prism Star to even build up a Pokemon. So this deck seems like it has a decent bit of options. Low retreat cost, high HP, going down on prize cards. Like, I totally think that this is kind of the deck builder's deck. Is it going to be the best type of deck in the world? I'm not entirely sure. It's also weak to fighting type, and we all know that those Urshifu's holding out strong here. But it's one of those things where maybe in a world where Urshifu is not as popular as we think it is, or maybe there's a lot of Urshifu counters, this is a chance to be a real viable deck. Is it going to be as good as Pikarom? Only time will tell, and I'm excited to cover this deck on my channel and certainly give it the good old Zaclosage try, I guess. I mean, I like lightning type decks. What can I say, right? It's pretty cool. So let's see exactly how this deck goes in the future. Might be one of the weaker decks that we've showcased here. I think the weakness is really going to hurt it a lot. But it's one of those things where it is one of the top 5 new decks. I'm not necessarily going to just be like, oh, Flapple VMAX is really cool. Here's a list that I made in 2 minutes and it looks like absolute garbage. I'm going to try to make sure that I can piece together a really nice list for everyone, make sure that there's actually a meaning behind it, and that I have put testing hours and theory hours and discussion and stuff behind it. And now we finally landed on our last new archetype that I think is going to be viable out of this set, and that's probably my favorite, that's Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. So this is one of those things where Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, I feel kind of holds, it takes cues from other cards and kind of steals them in the same way that the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX would as well. So I already compared Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX to Golisopod GX, Raichu Alolan Raichu GX, Reshiram and Zekrom GX, and then Pikachu and Zekrom GX doing the Tag Bolt kind of play. Well, Single Strike Urshifu VMAX is kind of taking cues from any Pokemon that had like an Outrage base attack. So Reshiram and Charizard-GX really comes to mind, mixed with Zacian V, and I think that those two Pokemon are better than the other ones combined. So let me try to sell you on it. So with Single Strike Urshifu V, you have access to Laser Focus. You can search your deck for up to 2 fighting energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. I think that part's really cool because you can kind of go attach, Laser Focus, and next turn you're pressuring your opponent with an impact blow. To me, that seems like it's going to be absolutely crazy huge because you could just kind of, the same way that Zacian V can go attach an energy, Intrepid Sword, attach an energy, Knockout, is the same way that this deck can kind of 1-2 punch something, where if you don't react within a turn, your opponent can quickly impact blow you out of the game. I also like how then you can evolve into a Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, threaten your opponent now that you have 3 energies with a Gmax 1 blow. So if they have anything that's like 270 HP or below, they're threatening a knockout. If you don't need to do that and discard all your energies, you have access to Beatdown, so you have a mid-range attack, similar to how Reshiram and Charizard-GX doesn't necessarily have to go for its GX attack. It could go for 230, it could go for Outrage. And I like how this deck can get acceleration from Houndoom using its ability. Sure, it takes damage counters, but that's going to work really well with Single Strike Scroll of Scorn. So kind of bringing that outrage effect to the Reshiram Charizard-GX clone here that has 60 more HP than a Reshizard. That's the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. You can move the energies that do extra damage while building up extra damage on your Single Strike Scroll of Scorn, and that's not even including if your opponent's damaged you with a Zigzagoon ping or even decide to go for an attack. This Pokemon's going to be extremely difficult to tackle because if you don't go for a one-shot, then you're not really attacking, and if you don't go for a two-shot, how are you really tackling this Pokemon? So you can't attack a Pokemon like this 4 times because they'll win the game before that. So sometimes you're going to be forced into going for a 2-shot measure, and that might mean that your bigger HP Pokemon might fall to a Scroll of Scorn doing extra damage to Single Strike energies and building up damage with Houndoom's ability on the Single Strike VMAX. I think it could be absolutely huge. And Houndoom, again, just an energy accelerating Pokemon, so even if you do have to go for the G-Max 1 blow, you could quickly just push energies in that direction and really see what's up. I think that Crobat V Dedenne are pretty standard. Jirachi GX is really more for Mewtwo and other Psychic type Pokemon that'd be good. Everything else is pretty standard with the Research Marnie, Boss, Quick Ball, Calm, Switch. Really, the new cards that we're adding in are the Single Strike energies, which of course we want to add in. Most decks have their own special energies. This deck has its own Single Strike. You got the Urn of Vitality. So if you're discarding those energies with G-Max Blow, you can get them back into your deck, but it also works well with Tower of Darkness. So if you pitch away Single Strike Pokemon, you're drawing cards very similar to Heat Factory and Scorched Earth of the past. You could discard your Single Strike energy, get them back with Urn of Vitality. You could discard your Scroll of Scorn, get it back with Tower of Dark. Like, it's one of those things where you're drawing cards all the time, and I think that this deck is just going to be very consistent and very vicious. The one thing that I would like to add in here, and I'm not sure on some of my accounts, like maybe I need 2 Urn of Vitality, 2 Scroll of Scorn. That just might not me. I don't know how to play within my limits yet. I don't know if I can get to those razor thin margins day one. I would like to add a Reset Stamp. That's really the last kind of meaningful card that I want to add into this deck. But beyond that, I'm beyond stoked for this deck. I think this deck is absolutely bonkers, and it's going to be like my day one baby. I'm waiting for my new car, everyone. This card's going to be broken, so be prepared. There's going to be a lot of great stuff on my channel featuring this deck and all the other decks in this. And there we have it, peeps. These are the best decks that are coming out of the set. Did I miss the deck that you're looking for, the one that you're excited for? Let me know in the comments below what cards you're excited about, what new concepts you've been brewing up. Maybe you've been playing on Tabletop Simulator. Maybe you were able to get a few build and battle kits and play with some of the siblings at your house, or maybe your roommate or something. Let me know what's going on with all of y'all. And I mean, did you like these decks? Were my list tight? I don't know. I love to hear back from your comments. I get back to them as soon as possible, within a day most times. I appreciate all the extra subscribers. Y'all have been amazing. We're so close to 1,500 right now, and that just means that there's more comments, so it might take me a little bit longer, but I'm still getting used to all of this stuff going on with YouTube. Y'all are going crazy right now. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until Battle Styles comes out, this is probably going to be my last Battle Styles styled video, if that makes sense, but be prepared. I'm going to be getting everyone set up for the Players Cup 3 and for the Team Challenge playoffs, so there's going to be a lot more content on the channel regarding that. And like I said, this is going to be a triple upload day, where I'm going live with Maddie from Chill TCG for the podcast. We got this video right here that's going to be up within an hour, probably 2:30 Eastern. And of course, I'm going to try to stream Chill tonight at 6. It's going to be the massive Win a Tropical Beach event. So you can see me play my butt off for a beach or die trying. We'll see exactly what's going on. I got to edit this video ASAP, so I got to go. But thank you so much for watching. Peace out. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's become a member for the channel. Like I said I would, I totally appreciate all y'all. I appreciate everyone who's watching right now, even if you're not a member, but I do got to give praise where praise is due. Thank you so much for helping me out as my journey as a content creator. That's for Ali Plays Pokemon, Xenon TCG, Gabe Smart, and Slavin Tizik. I truly appreciate that you went out of your way to make my life a little bit easier as a content creator. So thank you so much for the support. If you want to become a member, click the join on desktop YouTube, and you should be able to see exactly, there's 3 different pricing options that are all priced in your local currency, so be sure to check it out. Thank you again, everyone, for all the support, and hopefully we can get a bunch of your members real time soon. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you haven't already, it'd mean the world to me if you could subscribe to help support me as a content creator. Thanks again, and have yourself a great one.